Hello, folks. That made it worse. Okay. The color doesn't pop in and out. On a new book. Yay! Which by the title. And if you kept up with Joe's Boys, I finished it yesterday. So, yay. And it was a good book. This is Pride and Prejudice, Chapter 1. And I will read about the author. You will bear with me. Her name was Jane Austen, as you probably know. Austen. Born in 1775 and died in 1817. So she wasn't very old when she passed. God, what is that? In your 40s? Early 40s? I have to do the math. Jane Austen was an English novelist known for Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice. Oh, do these all go together? I wonder if I should have read Sense and Sensibility first. Oh, shoot, the colors popping in and out. But anyway, Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park, Emma, Northanger Abbey, and Persuasion. Though she published her works anonymously, Austen was so successful that she enjoyed personal and professional independence uncommon to women in Georgian middle-class society. Born into a family of modest means, Austen brought humor, intelligence, and a cynical snap to her heroines and her subject matter, which subverted the expectations of the popular and sentimental romances of the era. Her audacious social commentary and sophisticated realism won Austen approval from upper-class opinion makers as well as readers. But it was Austen's witty and ironic observations of class and gender divisions that were so distinctive and today so influential and universal. With a lasting impact on popular culture, Austen's canon of work still holds a mirror to each new generation of readers. So, shoot, now I got to go back. Chapter 1. Here we go. Okay. And remove. Okay. Chapter 1. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. However, little known the feelings or views of such a man may be on his first entering a neighborhood. This truth is so well fixed in the minds of the surrounding families that he is considered as the rightful property of some one or other of their daughters. "My dear Mr. Bennet," said his lady to him one day, "have you heard that Netherfield Park is let at last?" Mr. Bennet replied that he had not. "But it is," returned she, "for Mrs. Long has just been here and she told me all about it." Mr. Bennet made no answer. "Do you not want to know who has taken it?" cried his wife impatiently. "You want to tell me, and I have no objection to hearing it." That was invitation enough. "Why, my dear, you must know, Mrs. Long says that Netherfield is taken by a young man of large fortune from the north of England, that he came down on Monday in a chaise and four to see the place." I hate about the color. And see the place. And was so much delighted with it that he agreed with Mr. Morris immediately that he is to take possession before Michaelmas, and some of his servants are to be in the house by the end of next week. What is his name? Bingley. Is he married or single? Oh, single, my dear, to be sure. A single man of large fortune, 4 or 5 thousand a year. What a fine thing for our girls. How so? How can it affect them? My dear Mr. Bennet, replied his wife, how can you be so tiresome? You must know that I'm thinking of his marrying one of them. Is that his design in settling here? Design? Nonsense. How can you talk so? But it's very likely that he may fall in love with one of them, and therefore you must visit him as soon as he comes. I see no occasion for that. You and the girls may go, or you may send them by themselves, which perhaps will be still better. For as you are as handsome as any of them, Mr. Bingley may like you the best of the party. My dear, you flatter me. I certainly have had my share of beauty, but I do not pretend to be anything extraordinary now. When a woman has 5 grown daughters, she ought to give over thinking of her own beauty. In such cases, a woman has not often much beauty to think of. But, my dear, you must indeed go and see Mr. Bingley when he comes into the neighborhood. It is more than I engaged for, I assure you. But consider your daughters. Only think what an establishment it would be for one of them. Sir William and Lady Lucas are determined to go merely on that account, for in general, you know, they visit no newcomers. Indeed, you must go, for it will be impossible for us to visit him if you do not. You're over scrupulous, surely. I dare say Mr. Bingley will be very glad to see you, and I will send a few lines by you to assure him of my hearty consent to his marrying whichever he chooses of the girls, though I must throw in a good word for my little Lizzie. I desire you will do no such thing. And Lizzie is not a tad bit better than the others. I'm sure she is not half so handsome as Jane, nor half so good-humored as Lydia, but you are always giving her the preference. They have none of them much to recommend them, replied he. They are silly and ignorant like other girls, but Lizzie has something more of quickness than her sisters. Mr. Bennet, how can you abuse your own children in such a way? You take delight in vexing me. You have no compassion for my poor nerves. You mistake me, my dear. I have a high respect for your nerves. They are my old friends. I have heard you mention them. I can miss. With consideration these last 20 years at least. Oh, you do not know what I suffer. But I hope you will get over it and live to see many young men of 4,000 a year come in the neighborhood. It will be no use to us if 20 should come, since you will not visit them. Depend upon it, my dear, that when there are 20, I will visit them all. Mr. Bennet was so odd a mixture of quick parts, sarcastic humor, reserve, and caprice that the experience of 23 years had been insufficient to make his wife understand his character. Her mind was less difficult to develop. She was a woman of mean understanding, little information, and uncertain temper. When she was discontented, she fancied herself nervous. The business of her life was to get her daughters married. Its solace was visiting and news. That's all of chapter 1. I like it. I got a chuckle out of it. I hope you did too. The mother is something else, isn't she? And I'm going to stop there. There may be days when I will read more than one chapter, especially if they're that short. But I got so much stitching to do, y'all. Still fighting sleep, which drives me crazy no end. Okay, guys, have a fantastic day. I should be on today at 5. Live at 5. So, hope we have another lovely crowd of squirrel squatters. Love to you all. Be sweet. Sorry, I'm putting it crazy angle instead of picking it up all the time. When I take it out, then it's hard to get it back in. It doesn't want to stay there. Love to you all. I think I already said that. But anyway, can't ever say that too much. I like my Tina earrings. Crafts by the Rose. I ruined all my other ones by trying to stiffen them with Mod Podge. I know, I told you. I still have them. She told me to throw them away, but I can't throw away that beautiful work. I'm still going to try to salvage them, though she did, and I know, but anyway. I'll see y'all later.